Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something that might sound kind of complex at first, but trust me, it's really fascinating. We're talking about prompt engineering.
Yeah, prompt engineering. Have you ever thought about, actually speaking the language of AI? Like ChatGPT and Gemini.
So we could get them to, give us exactly what we need.
Exactly. It's like having a secret code to unlock AI's true potential. And guess what? You don't have to be a tech expert to get it.
That's good, because I'm not. Our source today is a blog post by Deborah Pruzith, and it actually breaks down prompt engineering in a way that anyone can understand, even if you're totally new to AI.
Yeah. Prompt engineering is, it's all about asking the right questions and giving clear instructions to AI. That way, you get the best possible responses.
Okay, so let's say, I'm using ChatGPT to do some research on a topic. What's, the first thing I should be thinking about?
That's a great question. I think the first thing to be aware of is what we call hallucination. It's one of the biggest challenges with AI right now.
Hallucination. So the AI is, seeing things that aren't really there.
Well, not literally, but it can, generate information that sounds totally believable but is actually wrong. Imagine it telling you, I don't know, that the sky is green and then giving you a super logical explanation for it.
It's kind of scary, honestly. How often does that actually happen?
Well, studies have shown that these hallucinations, they can occur almost 30% of the time, which is a pretty big margin of error.
Whoa, that's a lot. So how do we, avoid falling for those AI tricks? Is there, a way to tell it to double-check its work?
You absolutely can. One technique that works really well is building a fact-checking step right into your prompts.
So we could tell it to, show us its sources.
Exactly. You can literally tell the AI to look at its own output and identify any objective facts. And then it can suggest ways to verify those facts. It could give you URLs, suggest books or articles, or even point you in the right direction for more research.
It's like saying, hey, AI, back up what you're saying.
Right. And you know what? Some AI tools like Google's Gemini, they actually has a built-in feature called double check that does exactly that. But even without that, you can still craft your prompts in a way that encourages this kind of critical analysis.
It's cool that our source actually provides a sample prompt that we can use for this. It breaks down the specific steps the AI should take to be sure it's being accurate.
And it even goes into the difference between objective facts and subjective interpretations. For instance, the AI has to know the difference between a statement like the sky is blue, which is objective, and the sky is beautiful, which is subjective.
So we're basically teaching the AI to think critically about its own responses.
Exactly. That's a huge part of being good at prompt engineering.
This is super helpful, especially for general questions.
Yeah.
But what if you're using AI to analyze a longer document? Like a research paper or a news article. How do you make sure that the AI is giving you a good summary?
That's a really good point. And that brings us to another technique you can use. Demanding references.
Like footnotes in an academic paper.
Yeah. When you ask the AI to summarize something, you can tell it to give you specific citations, like the page number, section, or even a direct quote to back up everything it says.
So you can easily check that it's not just making stuff up.
Exactly. It makes the AI accountable for using the actual content of the document.
This is making me realize that there's way more to using AI than just typing in a question and hoping for the best.
It's definitely a skill you can learn and get better at.
Right. Hit me with more. What other techniques are out there to make sure the AI is giving us reliable information?
So what if you're dealing with a problem that's more than just finding information, something that involves actual reasoning, like a math problem?
I definitely wouldn't just trust the AI without understanding how it got there.
Right. For those situations, there are specific prompting methods that can really help. Two that come to mind are react and think step by step.
Those names are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, they kind of are. Basically, you're telling the AI to show you its thought process, breaking everything down into clear and logical steps.
Like showing your work on a math test.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That way, you can follow along with the AI's reasoning and make sure it's not making any crazy leaps in logic.
I love that. It's like seeing, behind the scenes of how the AI is thinking.
Yeah, right. React is especially useful when you want the AI to really explain its thought process in detail.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you're using AI to write some code. Instead of just getting the finished code, you could use React to have it explain each step of the process, justifying every line of code.
So it's not just about the answer, it's about the journey.
Yes. And what about think step by step? That's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Well, think step by step is more of a general instruction. You can use it to break down any task into smaller parts. It's really helpful for problems that require a linear thought process, like solving a logic puzzle or explaining a complex idea.
So if I was using AI to summarize like a historical event, I could use think step by step to make sure it's explaining things in a way that makes sense.
Exactly. The best part about these techniques is that they can be used for a ton of different things.
I'm seeing a theme here. It's like all about transparency and control. We're not just like blindly believing the AI. We're actively shaping how it works. So it's working with us, not against us.
You got it. That's the heart of prompt engineering.
This is super empowering. It's like we're taking charge in this world of AI.
Absolutely. Speaking of taking charge, there's another really important tip that our source highlights: sticking to what you know.
So like if I'm a doctor, I shouldn't be using AI to give me like legal advice.
Exactly. When you're using AI to help you make important decisions, it's crucial to stay within your own area of expertise, because then you'll be able to spot any errors or inconsistencies that the AI might make.
That's true. Like if I'm a musician, I'm going to be way better at catching a mistake in some AI-generated sheet music than someone who's never even touched an instrument.
That's a perfect example. Your knowledge is like an extra layer of protection.
This has been so helpful. I feel like we've covered so much already.
Oh, there's so much more. We've only just scratched the surface of prompt engineering. I'm excited to dive into some even more advanced stuff in our next segment.
Perfect. I'm ready for it.
All right. We're going to be looking at even more ways to maximize AI accuracy and get the absolute most out of these incredibly powerful tools. Welcome back. Ready to learn some more about how to use prompt engineering?
For sure. You mentioned some more like advanced techniques. I'm curious to hear what else we can do to like really make sure the AI is on point.
Well, one of the biggest breakthroughs in AI lately has been something called zero-shot and few-shot prompting. These techniques basically use the AI's ability to learn on the fly.
Those sound pretty technical. Can you like explain them in simple terms?
Sure. Imagine you're asking the AI to summarize a news article. With zero-shot prompting, you're basically just giving it the article and saying, go ahead and summarize this. No examples, no nothing.
So we're trusting it to like figure it out on its own.
Yep. And the amazing thing is, AI models like ChatGPT and Gemini are getting really good at this. They can actually analyze complex information and pull out the main points without being trained on that specific type of content.
That's crazy. But what if we want to like give it a little more guidance?
That's where few-shot prompting comes in. Say you're asking the AI to write product descriptions. With few-shot prompting, you would give it a few examples of good product descriptions and then ask it to write one for a new product.
So it's like we're giving it a model, like showing it how it's done.
Exactly. And the more examples you give it, the better it'll understand what you're looking for.
This kind of reminds me of like how we learn as humans. We often learn by watching and copying others.
That's a great observation. It's almost like we're doing the same with AI, teaching it through examples.
It's really cool how these techniques are bridging the gap between like human learning and AI.
And the possibilities are endless. Whether you're using AI for research, writing, or coding, these prompting methods can help you get amazing results.
So we've talked about fact-checking, references, breaking down reasoning, and even teaching by example. Anything else we can do to make sure the AI is like giving us good answers?
There's one more technique I think is worth mentioning. It's called chain of thought prompting.
Chain of thought? That sounds kind of cool.
It is. It's a way to get the AI to think step by step, but also to like explain its reasoning.
So it's like the AI is thinking out loud.
Exactly. Picture this. You ask the AI a question like, if all dogs are mammals and all mammals are vertebrates, are all dogs vertebrates?
Okay, got it.
Now with chain of thought prompting, you'd want the AI to answer something like this. Okay, let's break this down. We know that all dogs are mammals and all mammals are vertebrates. Since dogs are mammals, they must also be vertebrates.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like we're getting a peek inside the AI's brain.
Right. This level of transparency is really valuable. It helps us understand how the AI got to its answer. And it also helps us see if there are any flaws in its logic.
This reminds me of, like, showing your work in math class. You get points not just for the answer, but for showing how you got there.
Perfect analogy. It shows how important it is to work with the AI, not just give it orders.
Like we're teammates, solving problems together.
Exactly. And as AI gets more and more complex, this kind of teamwork is going to be even more important.
All these techniques are really changing how I see AI. I used to think of it as like this mysterious thing, but now I realize it's a tool that we can learn to control.
Absolutely. And remember, prompt engineering isn't just about avoiding mistakes. It's about unlocking the true potential of AI to help us in new and creative ways.
So it's not just taking away the bad, it's adding to the good.
Exactly. By learning these methods, you can use AI to write stories, solve problems, and even understand the world in new ways.
This whole deep dive into prompt engineering has been so eye-opening.
Glad to hear it. And remember, this is just the start. AI is always changing, and there are always new techniques and applications coming out.
Okay, bring on the challenge. What else do we need to know to become, like, prompt engineering masters? Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground already, but you said there's even more to learn about prompt engineering.
Yeah.
What else should we know to, like, really become experts?
You know, one important thing we haven't talked about yet is persona prompting.
Persona prompting. What's that?
Okay, imagine you're asking the AI to write a story. Instead of just giving it, a plot, you could actually give it a persona for the main character.
So, like, I could write a story about, like, a detective.
Yeah.
Who loves jazz.
Yeah.
And always makes jokes.
Exactly. When you give the AI a specific persona, it's like you're giving it a whole set of characteristics, motivations, even a voice to work with.
So we're not just giving it information, we're, like, shaping its creativity.
You got it. And the result is usually a much more interesting and engaging output. It's like the AI is actually playing a role instead of just completing a task.
I can see how that would make a big difference. Are there, like, other ways we can influence the AI's style or tone?
Oh, absolutely. There's another technique called style prompting. It's like setting the mood for the AI. You can use like specific keywords or phrases to kind of push the AI towards a certain style: formal, informal, humorous, serious, whatever you want.
So if I want the AI to write like a Shakespearean poem, I could put words like thee and thou in my prompt.
Yep. Or if you wanted something more casual, you could use words like, or like.
It makes you think about, like, the power of language, right? It's not just about sharing information. It's about, like, changing the way the AI thinks and how it expresses itself.
That's a great point. It shows the, the artistic side of prompt engineering. It's not just technical. It's creative, too.
Yeah. It's like prompt engineering is a mix of science and art. And we're using language to, like, conduct the AI's symphony.
I love that. And as AI models get more advanced, that mix of technical skills and creative vision is going to be even more important.
This entire deep dive has been incredible. It's totally changed how I see AI.
I'm glad to hear it. But remember, we're just getting started. AI is always changing, so prompt engineering will keep growing too. There will always be new things to learn and try.
To our listeners who are, like, hooked on this topic and want to explore more, definitely check out that blog post by Delusion. It's seriously a goldmine of information.
It's full of great examples and tips that can help you become a prompt engineering pro.
And you'll find a link to it in our show notes. That's all for today's deep dive. Keep experimenting with AI, keep learning, and keep pushing the limits of what's possible.
Until next time.